The most famous problems in computer science are called NP-complete problems. NP stands for non-deterministic polynomial. To prove a problem is NP-complete, you need to do two things. First, you need to reduce it to another problem that's already known to be in the set of NP-complete problems. This shows that it's NP-hard. It's at least as hard as all of the other problems. This means that you've created some scaffolding to connect your problem to something like 3SAT, graph coloring, or vertex cover. This shows that your problem is as hard as the other problems in the class. But the next step, to show that it's an NP-complete problem, means that it needs to have a certificate. Once you get a solution, it's easy, or takes polynomial time, to check if your answer is correct. People who know me will say at this point, what the heck is he doing talking about complexity theory? This is the guy who makes trivia playing robots. Shouldn't he stay in his lane? Well, last semester I gave my students a new challenge: write questions that computers couldn't answer. And they sure did. Many of the questions were indeed hard to answer, but they were so vague that no human could really answer the question either. One way of knowing that a question is bad is that even if you have perfect knowledge, it's hard to tell if you have the right answer. So for example, take this question. This online series stars a man who played as an SS officer in one series and a woman who was a spy in yet another TV show. If the official answer is the diplomat, based on the star's previous turns, Rufus Sewell in The Man in the High Castle and Kerry Russell in The Americans, even if you've watched every single episode of all three series, and you should because they rock, you're not going to get the answer right, despite infinite knowledge. So what's the problem? To verify the answer, you'd have to think about every actor that played a Nazi, from Hogan's Heroes to Hunters, and every actor that played a spy, from Barbara Feldon and Get Smart to Sarah Lancaster and Chuck, and make sure that The Americans is the only possible intersection of those two. From a trivia perspective, this punishes knowledge. The more possibilities you think of, the more candidates you have to check. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. We want to test players' ability and their knowledge, but there's now no real way to check an answer. There's no aha moment when the answer clicks. So let's edit the question to give it just a little more specificity. What series could be named after either of its two co-stars? One co-star is played by an actor who previously portrayed an SS officer who lured a doctor into a car after claiming to have killed his son and injecting the doctor with poison. The other co-star of the series is played by an actress who portrayed a deep cover spy that killed Nicaraguans being trained in the US by the CIA. This doesn't make the question that much easier. You must have seen these episodes to realize what's being talked about here. That takes deep knowledge. Then you need to figure out that those actors now star on this new Netflix series. But if you do have that knowledge, you can very quickly verify that the answer in your mind is correct. Obergruppenführer Smith killed Dr. Jerry Adler, and Elizabeth Jennings killed 3 Contra agents in the episode Marshall Eagle. Now the path from question to answer is clearer. If you have all of the information at your disposal, you can be pretty darn sure that the answer is actually The Diplomat, starring Kerry Russell and Rufus Sewell. So you know immediately that you figured it out. This feels so good when you're answering the question. All of the puzzle pieces fit together in a satisfying way. And this is exactly like, for instance, taking a setting of the variables in a 3SAT formula and then seeing if the overall formula is true. Remember that the problem is whether there is a solution. Finding that solution is hard, but once you have an answer, have a solution, you can check whether the answer is correct relatively quickly. So when you're writing a question, vagueness can make it difficult for both humans and computers. Thus, as you're writing the question, think about this. Could a human with perfect information produce a certificate to their answer? If not, Or if there are dozens of possible answers, then the question is probably too vague to be usable. Now, I said something like this to my class, and the students took a slightly different approach. Make the answer specific by adding more and more vague constraints. To make this a little more mathematical, let's say that there are L clues and each clue has C possible options. Then the work that you have to do is to check the possible candidates for all of the possibilities. That total work would then be L raised to the C. This is doable, but it goes against our ethos of having questions that are easier for humans than computers, since searching over a large set of options advantages computers. And to come back to the NP completeness theme, in this case the search is exponential. Although to be fair, it's not exponential to the point that it would overwhelm modern computers before a human's head would explode, but I think the spirit's the same. The check for the certificate should be fast compared to the task of finding an answer, finding a solution. So when you write a question, make sure that a knowledgeable person will know immediately if their answer is correct. And this should happen on the very first complete clue. This is just one video from a course that I'm teaching. If you want to get the whole context, check out the course webpage, linked below. There you can find all of the videos in the right order. YouTube likes to show you older videos out of order, homeworks, exercises, and recommended readings. And if you want to help other people find videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe to provide a big gradient to the algorithm.